Hi everybody again. I didn't finish off my responses to some of the comments that had been made on my channel, particularly Augustus Caesar, a chap with delusions of grandeur by the sounds of it, but he has no reason to feel grand because he's either not very bright or he's a lumpen proletariat. He's either he sneered at me for living in a council flat and my Oxfam berry, so I presume he's a superior type, probably privately educated. But if you were privately educated, Augustus, you should sue, because he didn't do a very good job of it. And if you are just lumpen proletariat, that's someone stupid enough to cooperate in his own oppression, and God help you. But I use God figuratively speaking, of course. But I have no objections to your rants and calling me a vile, racist cipher. I'd like you to know that the chap who's helping me make this video at the moment is a black American, and that my partner, I asked her permission for this first, my partner is Jewish. And so I do take it, except my namesake, Karl Marx, was Jewish. Leon Trotsky was Jewish. Bukharin was Jewish. Many of my heroes were Jewish. The Jewish are some of the most talented and nicest people on earth. But they also, I don't include Zionists in that, because I believe Zionism is a conspiracy to rob. And it's to rob the Palestinians of their homeland and their place to live. Just the other day, more Palestinians being evicted from their homes so that someone perhaps from Golders Green or Hendon, part of the Jewish diaspora, can go back there and live because of something in some ancient scripts thousands of years old, It's preposterous, frankly. It's preposterous. I actually believe that it was the Western powers who created Israel as an anti-Semitic gesture, because it was what they called the Jewish problem. Hitler had a solution to what he called the Jewish problem. But Israel is not the solution. Israel merely creates more problems. You displace one piece. You would think that Jewish people would, and they do generally, and many of them do, are not Zionists, recognize that what is happening in Palestine is simply unjust to the people who were born there and have become refugees in that part of the world. Samson, very gallant, stood up for me against your fascist rantings. You call other people fascist, but you're coming from the far right yourselves. I don't think that your insult is quite sincere. I should think some fascist. 10 minutes. Oh, sorry, I was just. Where did I get to? Yes, Samson. Augustus Caesar wants to know if I would recognise that capitalism had helped me to recover from alcoholism. Well, that's a new one, mate. That's a new one. I was saved by the National Health Service, which is the socialist, even communist institution, in that it's for anybody who needs it, which is basic communism. I don't have to produce any money or any insurance or anything. I can just walk into a hospital and be treated simply because I am a citizen. And that is socialism and communism. If we had, in 1975, we still had the welfare state left. It was old Labour days. And I was able to get training as an audio typist provided by the government. Again, that is socialism. If it wasn't for socialism, I would be dead many years ago. If I was born in America, I would be dead many years ago, because I have suffered from alcoholism, heart disease and cancer. Thousands of pounds worth of operations I have had and treatment, which I could never have afforded, especially as a vagrant on the streets. But I was taken into hospital for 6 months got a government training course, as I've mentioned, got help finding a place in a hostel, from which I moved on. And I know Augustus Caesar likes to sneer about my council flat, but I was brought up in a council flat, a council house in Glasgow, in a housing estate, and we had a wonderful community until the beast, the great witch of the West, Thatcher, came along and destroyed. When she went for the sale of council houses, it was in order to take away the Labour Party's base in council housing, and allowed council housing to be run down. There's nothing wrong with renting, as most people in Europe do it, and people who think they own their properties are fools, because they don't. It's the building societies and the banks who own their property until they have paid off their mortgage. When they finally finish up, they've probably paid about 10 times as much as the house was worth initially. You know, it's all a game, the money game that the capitalists play. If you've got money, it earns you more. If you borrow money, you have to pay back less. So it's a constant discrimination against the weaker, and constant discrimination in favour of the stronger, who already are strong. It's a cliche, I know, that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. But when I first said that this would happen under Thatcher, it was treated as an outlandish thing to say. It was treated as an extreme thing to say. But now it's just an accepted fact that that was the purpose of a Tory government, was to redistribute wealth upwards. And that's what they did. And that's what the whole of the Thatcher regime was about. The poll tax was an exercise in doing the same thing, where old age pensioners would pay the same amount as, say, a millionaire. That was so obviously unjust. Now, I'd like to speak about a few other people. Tommy in Glasgow, I heard your call about bring them on, bring the Yanks on, you know, if they want to mess about with some tough guys. We've got a few in Glasgow, haven't we, Tommy? And good luck to you, and I love your passion on your calls. And Ignacio Sanmon, you're doing a grand job there. And Samson, who loves you and loves everybody, according to Samson. I'm not sure if you're young. It's a very young-looking picture of you and what age you are. But you're very intellectual. You tend to make things a wee bit too complicated at times. I think we should keep the message simple. You know, John Lennon's song Imagine, it's a communist hymn, but there's one line in it. I always say it's 90% Karl Marx and 1% and 10% Alcoholics Anonymous. And the Alcoholics Anonymous part is imagine all the people living for today, as well as imagine all the people sharing all the world. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if we can. You know, this is a communist hymn. About the communist dream, and communists do have dreams, you know. And if you don't have a dream, how are you going to have a dream come true? You know, this Oscar Hammerstein, and I fully believe that I am, as I mentioned before, I'm an idealist, and I'm a utopian in that sense. That I believe that by aiming for utopia, we make things better. I believe that capitalism must change. For economic reasons, that the majority of the people cannot be treated as lesser than a minority of people. Capitalist societies are run basically by the capitalist class, who can afford private education, and there's only 7% of the population, but they own over 90% of the wealth in the country. We are not a democracy. These people have power no matter how many elections you have. Nobody elects the capitalist class, and they are the real bosses. Your employer has more power over your life, can destroy your life at the snap of a finger, your employer, and he's elected by no one. So don't give me the guff about democracy. Your life is run by capitalists who own all the material things on earth which workers make. I'll leave it there for now. Cheerio for now.